my camera a bit and vlog a little bit this month. I have decided to do a no-buy November, and I think technically a no-buy is that you don't spend anything for that month other than absolute necessities and emergencies. I'm not following it super strictly, but I am trying the no-buy for this month so that I can be more mindful about where I'm spending money, and mostly to stop spending money on things like new projects, because I have so much beautiful stuff that I really want to use. And so my goal is to not buy any more projects in regards to knitting or crafting or sewing, even stationery and art supplies, bags, clothing too. I'm not a huge shopper, but I am really trying this month to be much more mindful about where I'm spending my money and not spend it if at all possible. So I'm also focusing on more creative time for myself, because feeling a little burnt out after the couple of projects that I've done in the last couple of months. Just sewing so many bags has got me a little bit burnt out, and so I thought it would be a great month to pull out some fabrics, some patterns, just work on creative stuff that I've been wanting to for a really long time. So I'm going to take you guys along a little bit with me, and some of it I won't even be talking. I just thought it would be fun to kind of document it, and I will check in here and there and see how it's going. I'm in my studio space now, and I thought I would come and have a quick look. I managed to tidy up quite a bit last week. It's still not completely finished, but I do feel a lot better because I managed to remove 2 huge garbage bags full of actual garbage, nothing I could even donate. It was just really old paperwork, stuff from university, all kinds of garbage that I removed from this closet, and it felt so good to make a little bit more space. It's still pretty packed, but it's a lot better. And I've got project bags and a little bit of art supplies, my serger. I'm feeling a lot better about this, but I still have quite a bit to go through, particularly this basket. And I'm not sure if you'll remember, but I got this basket in the last few months, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, and it was meant to be for my Make 9 projects. And I've been going all over the house in different corners and other baskets, in the closet, on shelves, and I found all of these other projects that either have been started or I have beautiful yarn and a pattern and it's dream knitting. And so this mountain of projects has gotten out of control. The thing is having so many projects has really stopped me from finishing anything, I've realized, because I just cast on something new. I do a row on one thing and then I maybe jump to another thing, so I'm not really completing anything. And it's really fun to cast on and have dream projects, but I love the yarns and the projects in most of these bags, and so I really want to focus on the priorities and finishing some stuff in the next couple of months. I don't get a ton of knitting time. I don't expect to just blast through these projects, but I think my next thing is going to be going through these project bags and deciding if I really want to keep some of them or not. A lot of them I want to keep, but some of them are so old and so beautiful. I just have to prioritize and maybe sort them into 2 different baskets. I'm not sure. We will see how that goes. And then next on my list is to go through some of my patterns here and see if there's anything I'd like to sew for myself this month. I would love to make another Wixton top. Would love to make Amy's Emmeline tee. There are a few things I'd like to make. So I have some beautiful fabrics. I've got some linen. That is on the agenda. Also on the agenda, I have these 2 beautiful fat quarter bundles that I purchased from the workroom quite a while back. I think this one I got not too long ago, but this one I've had for a couple of years now. I love both of these fabric collections so much, And I also really love my little Halloween quilt that I keep in the family room. And so I'm going to pre-wash, I think this bundle is the one I'm going to start with. I'm going to pre-wash these fabrics, I think today, and just get them out and ready to cut whenever I have some free time into some simple squares, or I'm not sure what shape I want to do yet, but I'm keeping it super simple so that it can get done. Wednesday now, and I've taken a little bit of time this morning to knit a few rows on my weekender sweater, and I've realized that that is the only way I can get some solid work done on any knitting projects, because later in the day I just don't have the time or energy. So I feel really good about doing that today. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I could be tidying up and cleaning in the house, but I have to remind myself that I have work in my studio to do, and so I'm going to ignore some of the little messes and get some patchwork pouches done today. But I think first I am going to organize some of my knitting whips. beautiful pile of gorgeous yarn. It's mostly for sweaters, so I've never really had a good stash of sweater quantity yarn, and in the last year I picked up quite a few, and I definitely have plans to continue to work on sweaters, but I think I'm not going to leave it in the basket. I think I'm going to somehow try to fit it into here, maybe take out some of the stuff that I know I won't be using, and just try to organize it that way. It's going to take me a while. And then this one is a shawl, which is also not going to happen for a while. Now these three here are sweaters that I kind of started. Yeah, I started all of them. I'm not really sure if I'm going to finish the little cabins. I do have this Kamara sweater, which is beautiful, and I'd love to do that again. And then definitely my ranunculus. I will be picking that up again, but I think I'm going to switch out the bag because I love that bag, but it was more of a summer bag for me, and I'm going to pop the ranunculus into a project bag and put it in here. I've got a few piles over here. These right here are projects I still want to keep, but they're not high on my priority list, so they might go in the basket sort of at the bottom, and when I can I will get to them, but I'm not really worried about them. This is the only project that I think I will be taking out or ripping out. It's beautiful and I love the yarns, but it's a huge shawl. It's the starting point and I do like it, but I think it's much too big for me and I can't imagine knitting this section and then doing it again. So this one is going to come out. The yarn will go back in my shelves. And then this is just my little sock whip bag. So I'm going to tidy that one up again and find a little spot for that. So I am going to try to organize this and get some of it into my shelves here. And then I will have a better idea. I can see everything. And when I'm ready to cast on a new sweater, I can pick much more easily than digging through this huge basket. Took me a little bit longer than I had hoped, but I'm feeling really good about this. So I've got my basket organized again, and this just has project bags with whips that I really want to continue or finish one day, and also a couple of projects in there that I've caked up the yarn and have the pattern ready to go, and they are at the top of my queue. So I feel good about that. I had to do a little bit of rearranging over here to fit a few more things in. The only thing that doesn't fit is this basket of Christmas yarn, so I need to find a place for that. But I basically added a little bit more to this cube. Now this is fingering weight yarn that I either have a sweater's quantity or for a shawl. So I have projects kind of in mind for those, and I can go kind of shopping in that cube. Over here is my winter accessories and hats basket, so that will be easy to just grab if I want to start a hat. These cubes down here I've kind of fixed a little bit and put in some of my sweater quantities of yarn. And then I still have my cubes up here, which I tidied, and I put my starting point shawl. I ripped that out. I put the yarn back up there. And the only other thing that I ripped out was my little cabin sweater, which was a hard decision, but I have another sweater that I do want to make with that, and so I've got that in a bag ready to go. So my room is pretty tidy, which is kind of a necessity for me. I mean, I could go through that cart. This is my pile of things to file and find a home for after I cleaned out the closet last week. And I think that's kind of it. It's in pretty good shape. So it's a little messy over there too, but that's okay. I've got to get some work done. So I've got some fabrics that I've picked out. I'm going to work on some patchwork pouches today and start cutting and patching these, which is very therapeutic and a lot of fun. So that's what I'll be doing now. It is Friday and I am so excited about that. Yesterday ended up being a really busy day. I had a teacher meeting for James and I had to pick up Camden at his school. And so the day got away from me. I did a bit of work, but not a lot. And I'm going to try to really catch up today. I like to save parts of my Fridays for some creative time, but because I've had a little bit less time to do work this week with some things going on and even vlogging, I don't think I'm going to be able to do too much today, but we will see. So I just made myself a second cup of coffee. I'm going to head up to my studio. I've got a beautiful new delivery of fabrics that I'm really excited to start cutting into and prepare for the holiday season. And I have been reading all of the entries for the giveaway that I posted about in my last podcast, and it's been such a treat to read them all. Thank you so much to everyone that has been entering. If there was any confusion, I didn't mention where to enter. So if you were confused by it and you haven't been able to find the right place, you just need to go to Ravelry, into the groups tab, and search the By the Lakeside group. Go into that group, and then there's a thread there for the giveaway. So that's how you enter. I also forgot to mention a discount code for the beautiful Nomadic Knits magazine. So I'm going to post that up here in a minute or two. And I'm really sorry that I didn't share that, but I'm going to share that in a minute. And lastly, I wanted to share with you guys that I've completely failed the November no-buy. I don't know what happened, but I think it all started with the Sephora VIB sale. I placed an order and I gave myself permission to place an order. It started November 1st, and so I placed it, I think, at midnight on October 31st. And it was just for my essential products that needed replenishing because the discount is too good to pass up. So I ordered like my eye cream, a hair product that I was almost out of, just a couple of things that I know are staples and I always repurchase. They are part of my everyday stuff. And I left it at that for a few days, so I was good. And then the emails kept coming with the discounts and there was a limited palette, and so I kind of caved and I made another purchase. And then I had some issues with my food processor, which is a pretty big thing, and it happened a while ago. So Glenn had ordered a replacement part for my food processor from head office. It didn't fit, and yesterday I was running around trying to find the right piece. It turns out my machine is so old, it's 20 years old, that the replacement part doesn't really fit properly. So instead of spending $60 on parts that wouldn't really fit properly on a 20-year-old machine, I totally caved and purchased a new food processor yesterday. It's supposed to be arriving today, which I'm super happy about. And I really wanted to wait for Christmas, but I use that for my pizza dough, for shredding things, all kinds of stuff, and Christmas baking is right around the corner. So I did that. I failed, but I think I'm going to persevere. I'm not going to give up completely. I am going to get back on that horse. I'm going to try to stay away from any online shopping for the rest of the month. And I don't know, please don't shame me. But I am going up to my studio. I have a bit of tidying because it's already gotten messy from the big cleanup I did. The boys have been working in there and I've left stuff everywhere. So 10-minute tidy and then cutting out new fabrics and patchwork. And if I can get that done quickly, I think I might start cutting out for my lap quilts, because I showed, I think in a clip, a beautiful pattern that I want to make, and I've got a triangle ruler, so I'm going to maybe set some time aside this afternoon to do that. I'm about to start my quick cleanup, but first I wanted to share the very generous discount that the ladies from Nomadic Knits have shared with me to share with all of you. It is Lakeside 20. I will put it on the screen, and it will get you 20% off in their Ravelry store on all issues and patterns. So it's good for the rest of 2019. They've got some beautiful, beautiful patterns, so I encourage you to check that out. And they ship worldwide, and they've also mentioned something really exciting. All garments are sized to fit at least a 60-inch bust starting from the current issue on. So I think it's something that they are making sure to be inclusive for sizing, and I think that's amazing. So it's a great discount if you've been wanting any of their patterns. Check that out, and you can use the discount for 20% off. Saturday, and I totally forgot to end the vlog yesterday. That was my intention, and I had to run out and do a few things, and my whole afternoon was kind of swallowed up by that. So I'm really happy it's the weekend. Everyone is home doing their own thing. It's kind of quiet, and I am just going to go and spend some time in my sewing room. I think I'm going to cut out some of the triangle templates for my quilt and do a little bit more patchworking this weekend. And I think that's it. I am going to end it here, and I will probably continue filming the next week or two as I make more things this November, and I hope you guys enjoyed following along. See you soon.